One speaker is then selected from each campus. Selected as student speaker this year from the Palm Desert campus is a very fine student whose name is Jennifer Inman. Jennifer graduated from Ottumwa High School in Ottumwa, Iowa in 1992 and is receiving her Associate of Science degree in nursing this evening. She is currently employed as a nurse's assistant at Desert Hospital and is hoping to continue to work there as an RN after completing her state board exams this summer. Jennifer found her way to College of the Desert after marrying her husband, Marine Sergeant Chris Inman, who relocated to the 29 Palms Marine Corps base. For the past 11 months, however, Sergeant Inman has been stationed in Japan. But happily, I understand he is present with us this evening in the audience to help celebrate his wife's marvelous accomplishments. He will return shortly to Japan to complete another month of duty. After Chris is discharged from the Marine Corps in another year, Jennifer plans to reverse their roles and work full-time, while Chris returns to school to work on his own college degree. It is a real pleasure now for me to present to you Jennifer Inman. Please join me.
A few weeks ago, I received a letter in the mail stating that I had an opportunity to give the graduation address for COD. After I double-checked the address level to make sure that they had sent it to the right person, my first thought was, they must be absolutely crazy if they think I'm going to get up in front of the entire class in 1997 and give a speech. This was, and still is, one of the most intimidating experiences I could ever imagine doing. My heart is pounding so hard still, and it's been pounding since I got that letter. But I'm also probably one of the most insecure people you will ever meet. But something inside of me kept saying, Jenny, you have to do this. You just have to at least give it a try. So I went ahead and made the call to COD, letting them know that I was interested. What I'd like to talk about is the voice inside of me, the one that pushes me to achieve high and has helped me to structure the path that I let lead my life. Each and every one of you here today have pushed yourselves to achieve your goals. But have you ever really thought of why you work so hard to have what you have? And this is something that I've thought about many, many times, and I've come to the conclusion that one of the greatest gifts that God has ever given me is a speech impediment. I truly believe that it's because I grew up with a speech problem that it has made me who I am today and has pushed me to achieve the highest I could get and to never settle for less. Up until my teenage years, I received speech therapy. In my early toddler and elementary years, I went to Truman Elementary School for the physically and mentally challenged children. I went there a few hours a week. At that time, we lived in Davenport, Iowa, and the school was a few blocks down from our house, and my playmates and I used to always go up there and play on the playground equipment. They referred to the children that went there as being stupid, and they had a lot of other extremely offensive names that they used. I can remember them peering in through these little windows in the playground in hopes of seeing one of them. And I never shared the information with them that I actually was one of them. Instead, I just internalized it, and I thought that there must be something horribly wrong with me, or why would my little friends be acting like that? I can remember one time when I was walking home from school in the first grade, and this little boy came up to me. Actually, he was a big boy. But he started teasing me and trying to make me say all the words that I couldn't say. And I started to cry, and he pushed me down on the ground. And I looked up, and my sister, who was a third grader, was running full speed ahead across the playground. And she grabbed a hold of him and punched him right in the nose and gave him a bloody nose. Then she put her arm around me, and we walked home. And who needs a big brother when you can have a sister like that? My parents were equally supportive, but I don't think they went around punching little boys in the nose, but my mom did come close a few times. Anyway, I learned early on in life that it wasn't always going to be easy or fair, and that sometimes it would just simply hurt. And this experience is definitely what has made me sensitive to other people's needs. I developed a desire to comfort others and to protect them from harm. I believe that this is what has led me to pursue a career in nursing. But most importantly, it has shaped the way that I've structured my life. Granted, I was very young, but I think that it was then that I unconsciously decided to rise above my little problem and set goals for myself and attempt to prove to myself and others that I can do great things and that I am a worthy human being. I developed the mentality that no matter what somebody does or what happens to bring me down, that I will succeed. The first goal that I can ever remember having was when I was 5. I was extremely backwards, but my goal in life then was to have my bed made every morning before my feet touched the ground and before my parents got up. It doesn't sound too difficult, I know, but I did have the top bunk. This made my goal achievement even greater because I knew that any 5-year-old can make their bed, but not many can make it from the top bunk before their parents were up while they were still in it and not fall off. Then a few years later, I was an aspiring third grader and extremely delusional as only a third grader can be. My goal in life then was to never have homework, and we started to get extra work assigned in the third grade, and I just did not want to have the homework. I thought that maybe I wouldn't be doing a good job if I had to finish my work at home. So our school got out at 3 o'clock and the teachers went home at 3:30. So at 3 o'clock I'd go outside and sit on the school steps and I'd finish all that work. And then I'd run it into my teacher before I walked home. Eventually we moved and had to start riding the bus home from school. So now this was a problem. So I had to revise my goal, which I've learned to do well in nursing school. In order to continue to meet this goal, when my bus would get off in my neighborhood, I'd lay down on the sidewalk and I'd finish all that work because I assumed as long as I didn't do it at home, it wasn't homework. So my goal was met, and needless to say, though, I caused my mom a great deal of grief because it was a while before she realized when I was never home on time, she could always find me at the bus stop doing my homework. These 2 childhood goals seem quite minor, I know, but they made me feel good about myself, and it was then that I realized what goal achievement can feel like. I've also learned to never limit yourself. In the 7th grade, our track coach announced this would be the first year that a 7th grade girl would have an opportunity to run the mile run and track and field event. And I can remember sitting on the bleachers thinking, I don't even know if I can run around the block, let alone an entire mile. And then his next question was, is anybody interested? And I found myself being the only girl out of about 50 who had raised her hand. And I thought, why did I raise my hand? But I raised it because I knew that just trying to finish a race that seemed so long and just completely out of reach at that time that it would be an accomplishment in itself. Well, I ran that race, and 10 years later, I still hold the record mile run at Evans Junior High School in Ottumwa, Iowa. My point is this: never limit yourself because you don't know what you can achieve unless you try. Okay, now in the last few years, I've been given a new set of challenges. I graduated early from high school. I took all of the right college prep classes, was registered at the University of Iowa, and my high school sweetheart was a junior at the University of Iowa at that time. But before I made it there, I fell in love with another. His name is Christopher Michael Inman. He was a fellow part-time co-worker at the local grocery store. At the same time I was preparing to pack my bags for college, Chris was preparing to leave for boot camp for the United States Marine Corps. Well, he proposed, and I withdrew my registration forms at the university, and at 18 years of age, I got married and moved from my home state of Iowa to Georgia. This was a complete shock to everyone who knew me. I've always been so goal-oriented, and then to change my plans so quickly was very unlike me. I was filled with many, many uncertainties when we left for Georgia. And within a year, we were stationed out here in 29 Palms, and we've been out here for 4 years now. And as it was mentioned earlier, this year has been especially hard for my husband and me. On July 8th of 1996, Chris left for a 1-year tour of duty in Japan. We're each other's very best friend. I knew we'd cry at this point. And being apart from him was just awful. However, now that this year is coming to an end, I realize that our separateness has given us an opportunity to grow as individuals. Because we married so young, We never really had a chance for much individual growth. Both of us have had to find strength within ourselves just to make it through these past 11 months. I feel that it's made us stronger as individuals, which will only make us stronger as a pair. Chris came home on Sunday so that he could be here today. And as if that wasn't enough of a graduation gift, on Wednesday night he surprised me with a 10-week-old Maltese dog. My first dog was a Maltese. His name was Bingo. He died 2.5 years ago, so this new puppy is more precious than anything I could ever imagine. And I just want to say thank you, Chris, and I love you. I'd also like to say a special thank you to the nursing program. We're all very fortunate to have a college such as this in our community. The nursing instructors provided constant support and words of encouragement. And I like to think of them as my own personal little cheerleading team. They even kind of cheered for me as I came up on stage, so that was nice. I have 2 extra special thank yous. One goes out to my physiology instructor, Dr. Salter. He made his class extremely challenging and this kept my mind stimulated and my motivation high. And in addition, it prepared me greatly for what I was going to experience in the years to come in the nursing program. My second extra special thank you goes out to my 4th semester clinical instructor, Tiffany Bell Devlantes. She, like Dr. Salter, also kept my mind stimulated, and she constantly helped me to push myself to try a little bit harder. The highlight in my college days is definitely today, in this moment. I'd like to thank the graduation committee of Kathy Westerfield, Joan Robinson, Chris Toten, and Connie Cameron for their faith in me and for this wonderful opportunity. Standing before all of you today definitely was not an original goal of mine, but it did become one a few weeks ago. I never ever dreamed of being able to do something like this. I said earlier that the thought of this was terrifying. My earlier speech impediment and all the insecurities that came along with it continue to play a big role in who I am today. But by giving this speech, I have now conquered one of my biggest fears, and I'm anxiously awaiting to see what I will be challenged with next. In conclusion, I'd like to say that I truly believe that each and every one of us has something inside of us that makes us tick. Some may already know what it is, and others are still searching. I challenge you to look inside of yourselves and discover what makes you want to achieve, because you're all achievers. That's why you're here today. Once you discover what it is, take it and use it to your advantage. Build upon it, set your goals high, never limiting yourself. I've recently learned in my nursing management class that was taught by Dee Gerken to not be afraid to leave your comfort zone, because it's outside of that zone of which you will find your dreams. We only get one chance in this life. Push yourselves, conquer your fears, and go for your dreams. Congratulations to all of you.
Honored guests, faculty, family and friends, and most important graduates, we all salute you. Jennifer, that was a good job. You're a fine representative of our students and you, as well as folks aboard the 29 Palms Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center. It's with pleasure this evening that I have the opportunity to introduce Nancy Mueller. I've known Nancy prior to enrolling as a student at Copper Mountain, both as a friend and as a community resident. Several years ago, walking across campus, I spotted Nancy and asked if she'd enrolled in classes. She shared